Hey guys, this is Faye from Feisworld Media. Now I know Clubhouse is getting really hot, really popular. Why is everybody so into it, and is it right for you? There are a lot of questions asked by my creative entrepreneurs group. Luckily for us, one of our colleagues, Michael O'Brien, decided to partner with me on this video. You're going to hear from him firsthand on some of the most frequently asked questions. You may be wondering, why is Michael qualified to talk about this? Because recently, not only he decided to sign up for Clubhouse, he became a meditation teacher slash coordinator. He has these daily meditation routines. Quickly on Michael, he is an executive coach, which means he works with a lot of prolific, seasoned leaders in the industry. What's really interesting is he's not trying to be an entrepreneurial coach on Clubhouse. Instead, he's really into meditation, and that's what he's bringing forward. So I think that's really fascinating for those of you guys who want to consider doing something on Clubhouse that may or may not be related to your subject matter expertise. This video is edited in different ways. Instead of chopping things down, make it super quick and fast, I decided for you to join in with us. It's me and our other mastermind group members who are all asking Michael these questions, like how do you start a group from within Clubhouse, and how do you join as a member? And Michael, how frequently do you host these sessions? How do people find you exactly? Do they come from your existing network, or they're net new to you? You're selling your merch. How are you able to do that? Where are you sharing these links? So these are all very normal questions a lot of people are afraid to ask. They feel like even though Clubhouse is new, they should be experts already. So instead, I really want this to be a very authentic, well-paced conversation, so you can tune in. If you have more questions, feel free to use the comments below. We're gonna do our best. I'm gonna kindly ask Michael to monitor the comment section so you can have your questions answered as well. Love to this community.
In some ways, a disproportional amount of my time and energy in Clubhouse now versus the other platforms. Although, since Clubhouse is connected to Twitter, which I don't have, but Instagram that I have, I do find I'm on Instagram a little bit more because that's the messaging platform. So if you want to connect off the platform, it's Instagram or Twitter DM that allows people to connect offline. And I would have to say, in terms of pause, breathe, reflect, it's been a game changer. And it took me a while to sort of find the right communities, but I found a couple. Also hosting rooms, and you can also now get to hosting clubs. So I have a pause, breathe, reflect club, and I run a 5-minute meditation 4 times a day, every day. So in a lot of ways, the people who are showing up, they get a pause, breathe, reflect experience. And I think that's part of the difference that's different than other platforms. Certainly you could do a Facebook Live or Instagram Live, like I could for this, but there's something about just your voice that is it's just pretty fascinating. And I think really, people in this day and age are like really thirsting for connection. And I think the other platforms don't really give you the same type of connection that Clubhouse can. Now, it can be a rabbit hole where you can spend a lot of time searching for the right rooms, but I tend to look at rooms that are anywhere from 200 people and fewer. And a lot of my pause, breathe, reflect rooms are just like 20, 25 people. But I would have to say that the people are showing up in the rooms, they're all buying gear and apparel and buying multiple SKUs, if you will. Like they'll buy a shirt or a tank or a sweatshirt and a mug, or maybe multiple mugs. So yeah, I would, it's, I'd like at any community, right? You want to show up, you go on, Saturday Night Live comes on. I think Seth once said it comes on 11:30 Saturday night, not because they're ready, because that's when you come on. Or like must see TV back in the day, it was like 8 to 10 o'clock on NBC. Just like it would, you got 60 Minutes, 7 p.m. on Sunday, like all those different shows. There's a regular cadence. And I think that lends itself well to like making sure that you're showing up, because Clubhouse is sort of like a show. It can be live podcasts. It could be like talk radio. It could be dinner party, but there's like a gathering, if you will. And once the gathering's over, it's over. what I'm most curious about is just like how FOMO plays into folks being on the app, because, if your notifications are on, like a conversation's happening. With all the other platforms, you can get maybe that post in your feed or in your thread, like something can be posted Thursday and you find it today. There, if a conversation happens at 3 o'clock on Saturday and it's over at 4 o'clock, the conversation's over, it's gone. And, certainly there are a lot of people spending lots of time on it as a way to look to like monetize it. So they've added a monetization feature where you can send money through Stripe. And there's like anything, like rich debate whether you should do that or not. So my feeling is I have it set up, but I don't have it activated. I'm just showing up and trying to help, and support. And, if you ask people like what I actually did, many of them would say, oh, you're a meditation teacher, because I don't talk about my leadership stuff really much at all. I've gone into some leadership rooms and it's just really a bunch of like, just the same crappy advice, just coaches talking about the same crappy advice. So, and so I tend not to go into those rooms. The room I found is actually most impactful is a room called the Miracle Morning, which is based on Hal Elrod's book, The Miracle Morning, and his morning ritual, which is like, there's no rocket science to it. He just basically crowdsourced like what successful people do in the morning. He decided to habit stack those and he created a book about it. He went through, I think, horrific accident, and he caught the wave and it became a big bestseller. So I tend to be in that room and I started just showing up and sharing, and then now I co-moderate the room. And so that's worked to help, give profile. And so many of the people that follow the Miracle Morning are now followers of the Pause, Breathe, Reflect Club. So they're showing up. So I do a room at 7:45 in the morning, a 5-minute meditation to start the day. And then the Miracle Morning room starts at 8 o'clock Eastern. And so a lot of people like, I could have 20, 30 people on my meditation at 7:45, and many of them flow right into the Miracle Morning at 8. So instead of watching MSNBC in the morning, watching the news or turning on NPR, they just pop into that room and they get, their own, like the juice that they want to consume in the morning. So it's, but yeah, definitely like just showing up, I would say over the last month there, the way I has fundamentally changed my Pause, Breathe, Reflect brand and the number of orders, unlike any other platform.
Michael, really great summary. Thank you. We have some questions here one from Jenny. Is it the same 20-25 people who attend regularly? That's the first question.
I would say 80% of the people attend regularly. And then you get some people that pop in. It depends on the room. Like when we do 8:45 at night room, like Europe is out, like they're asleep. And then the 7:45 a.m. one, like the West Coast is out because they're usually asleep. So, but I get like there's a crew. They're showing up all the time. Like it's like maybe same 50. I would say 15 to 20 showing up. The one that's like the least well attended is like the 5 o'clock one in the afternoon. Like I only maybe get a handful of people for that. But yeah, it's the same people, it's like a little community. And then they bring other people in and, and then what they're doing too is a lot of them are wearing the gear and changing their profile photo. And so they're, the profile photo is now them in the Pause, Breathe, Reflect gear.
Nice.
But yeah, there's like, for me, nothing like one of the biggest mysteries I've had is just my productivity or like engagement on the other platforms, especially like Instagram, but I probably have gotten, because of Clubhouse, 300 new followers on Instagram in like the last 2 months.
Wow. Hey, we do have a second and third question as well. Did these people stumble upon you in Clubhouse? I think you're kind of answering that already because some of them probably did. But
Yeah,
how many people, actually came over from from everywhere else, other social media channels and LinkedIn?
like everyone I've met on Clubhouse is basically new to me, and I'm new to them. Like, did not know they even existed on any other platform. Now, some people, now as the platform is getting more popular, then there's some people popping in and like, but it's still invite only. It's still iOS only. So there's still some like scarcity to the model. So definitely some people are like, because I do reference it in my blog post, like if you want to invite, come let me know. So I get some of those people, but I would say everybody that's bought gear, everyone that I hang out with, 3 months ago, I didn't know any of them.
A third question here, how do they find your merch? Do you tell them during the session? Is it on your profile in Clubhouse somewhere?
It's on my profile, but I've made a commitment not to like talk about selling anything. And there are plenty of people on Clubhouse, they're selling the crap out of all their programs and they're like really pitching. I'm just showing up, trying to provide some good value. And other people are like, oh, I bought your shirt. Your shirt's so cool. And then they can go to the link in my bio and they can grab the stuff. My profile picture is me in one of the shirts.
Got it.
I do get some questions. Hey, I see your shirt. Where can I get one of your shirts? And I'm like, oh, there's a link. But I don't say, hey, you know what? Buy my shirts, buy my stuff. Like, I don't like none of that. So I just, yeah.
I have a question. I welcome other people to ask any questions that you will have as well. But you mentioned that you basically going live, hosting these sessions. Did you say 4 times a day? Like
yeah,
meditation?
I do like 7:45, noon, 5, and 8:45.
How manageable is it for you? Because it's rather frequent. Like, what if you're in the middle of something or?
Well, if I'm in the middle of something, like we don't do it. I canceled the room. Like, for example, Wednesday, I got my second vaccine and I was feeling good, although I felt a little sluggish. I was tired. I wasn't like nauseous or anything else like some people have reported. I was tired. So I had one scheduled for 5 and one at 8:45 and I just canceled those rooms. And I didn't show up and and I also told folks like, hey, listen, if you don't see me later on tonight, you know that I'm probably tired or not feeling well because I'm getting my second vaccine. But yeah, I just, if something pops up, then I'll just work around it, like in no big shit. The thing is like it's a 5-minute meditation. So the world's going to still continue to spin. Like it's not like, oh my God, like I'm no, I don't think anyone's going to do anything dramatic if it doesn't happen. But, people definitely like, I've created Google Calendar for folks too, so they don't have to rely on the pinging algorithm of Clubhouse, which can be a little anxiety producing. So I have a Google Calendar. I update it every Friday with all the times for the week, and then they can go there and put it in their book. Yeah, so far it's manageable. I don't know how manageable it will be, on the ride across America because of Wi-Fi signals and just my riding schedule and time zones and all that jazz. But we're going to do the best we can. And, and I've connected with a lot of people off the platform, just again, providing help, a couple of people are interviewing for new jobs. And I was just like, yeah, give me a call. I can help you. And they're like, well, what's the cost? I go, well, just, tell your friends that PBR exists. And that's good enough for me, so yeah, so it's I haven't spent more time on social. I just spent more time on Clubhouse.
Oh, cool.
But I definitely try to keep it to a minimum. Like today, because when I open a room for a 5-minute meditation, I open it a couple minutes before the meditation begins, and I leave it open for anyone to say hi or anything like that. So in essence, it's like a 15-minute room. So 4 times a day, 15 minutes, that's an hour. And I was on for like a half an hour earlier today. So I try to keep it to like no more than 2 hours a day. But I do it like I'm not actively engaged. Like with LinkedIn or something, you're scrolling and you're, like you might be commenting, like I might just have it on in the background, like almost like I'm listening to a radio program. And if I pick the right rooms, the content and the conversation that's being shared is much healthier than like listening to the news.
Mm.
So
Do
that's how I
you,
view it, is like I'm just listening to the radio.
mm. There may be a couple of more questions. Feel free to drop in the chat box if you want. Jenny wants to know, do you pre-schedule all of these 4 days, 4 times a day for
Yeah.
these rooms? You do?
Yeah.
Ahead of time, like 24 hours ahead or a week ahead?
It's usually just it's like about, I can only schedule 5 at a time. So I just have a running thing. So like later on today, I'll schedule the 4 for tomorrow and maybe 2 for Monday. And then I get to tomorrow and I'll schedule and it doesn't take much time. It takes me like 20 seconds to schedule a room.
Gotcha. And in terms of the Google Calendar, you said earlier, I was just wondering, maybe it's a little bit of a dumb question. Do you send people a link to say register here or add it to your calendar? Or do you request their emails in exchange for the schedule link?
The calendar link is in my bio in Clubhouse, so they can just go and copy and paste that into their browser. We've had some trouble with people, like, they've had to put it into incognito or a new window if they're using Safari, and a couple like, oh, they're asking me to sign in. I'm like, it's a value add. I go, you're going to have to figure out your tech on your side. I'm like, I'm not a Google Calendar guru. So I'm like, I've created the Google Calendar. It's working for most people. It's not working for you. So you got to figure it out. Like, breathe. Like, um, so that because definitely, like with any algorithm, because there's so many rooms going on at any one moment on Clubhouse as the number of users expands. So sometimes, you might not get a notification that the room's now open, and the room doesn't stay open for hours. There's some rooms on Clubhouse that can stay open for 2 to 6 hours. So if you don't get there right away, no big shakes. But with this, if you don't get there on time, you're going to miss the 5-minute, moment. And a lot of people do find that happening where they're like, I missed it. And now, like, well, get the calendar, know when we're going to do it, show up when we're going to do it. If you don't see the room in the hallway, then you can just find me and then join the room that I'm in.
What do you do for those 5 minutes? You can reenact the whole
5-minute meditation. It varies. Each one is a little bit different. Like at night, we try to do something like end the night. In the morning, one is more about intentions about how you're going to start your day. And we do like a loving kindness meditation at noon. And then there might be a body scan at 5 o'clock as we end the day. So each time is a little bit different, but 5 minutes goes by pretty quick, and some of it's just listening to the background music I have on Spotify and just allowing them to just hop off the hamster wheel and just take a moment for themselves, which most people don't do. We're just too busy like scrambling all the time. So it just serves that purpose. And a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, and there's a lot of people that are like new to meditation and mindfulness. They're like, all right, I'm getting this. I can do this. And that's pretty cool. Yeah. There's one guy that actually did, who's been showing up all the time. And I'll probably post it tomorrow. He bought a mug and he bought a shirt, and then he put together a really cool video Instagram post, of him like making coffee with a French press, and then pour it into pause, breathe, reflect mug. And then he had, I did an MP3, pause, breathe, reflect, audio download that was part of Sunday's blog. So he took that audio of my voice and laid it over the video. So it's like 22 seconds, but he did a really great job with it.
Wow.
So it's like, that was pretty cool,
Wow.
He definitely like a creative guy. He's like, I would never have known how to do something like that. So
Very cool.
Yeah. So,
There's another question, but before I get to the question, Michael, how do people actually find the room? How do they find you? Is it just your name?
well, they follow the club, so they follow the club, they might follow me. And so when you follow the club, when I open a room, you get notified.
Okay, that means they have to follow the club. What's the name of the club?
Pause, breathe, reflect.
Oh, okay. All right. Very, very easy.
Yeah. And so once the club room opens up, and they can also look at the calendar and they can scroll that. And once they start popping up to the room, then the algorithm knows like this is a club, this is a room that you tend to hang out in. And so it's a little bit easier to find. But some people just find it organically. They're like, what's this room about? And they pop in and are like, oh my God, I never knew about this. I do an extended one on Fridays at 4. So Fridays at 4, we do a 5-minute meditation, but then we leave the rest of the time just to talk about the week.
Okay, cool.
I usually leave that open for an hour.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna go on for the last question, then we'll go back to our regular sessions. The last question is, what is the difference between 2 more questions I realized. All right, what do you think that have been the main drivers of this working for you, Michael? The fact that they're regularly scheduled, the fact that you do them so often, the top is just simply appealing, needed, or the sessions are short, word of mouth, or something else? What is the magic secret sauce here?
I think there's one, like it's become more than just a saying on a t-shirt. So they're actually doing the pause, breathe, reflect, and they get to experience it. So then like the t-shirt becomes a wearable reminder for them to actually do that. So they've lived it, and then you get an emotional response when you live something, as opposed to, like say life is good, right? So, okay, life is good. Okay, good. Build community. So I would say those 2 things: the lived experience, bringing the shirt to life because they've experienced it, and then showing up, because like people are like, you're showing up 4 times a day every day, like, wow, like how do you do that? And I'm like, well, I'm doing that because I want to help you. I want to help. And so I think that matters as well.
All right. Final, last question. What is the difference between following a club and versus being a member of a club? As a club owner, which is you, Michael, does it matter if people are members or followers, or is one better than the other?
I don't even know how like Clubhouse looks at it algorithm from an algorithm perspective. For me, like I think it's important to obviously follow the club. I think if you're a member, you do follow it, so you get notified. So right now I have I think close to 750 members of the club. Of them, a whole bunch do follow me. But in either case, as long as they show up, they find it and show up, that's cool. And I'm getting people from all around, like people from Europe to out west, teenagers to ZZ, who is 85 years old, right? So we get everyone in between. Mostly women, I would say, like when the rooms open up, 90% of the members are women. That's also like the who's buying the merchandise is mainly women. That's clear. I'm not sure if men think it's like too wussy or I don't know. Like I think men have sometimes a general, like American men have a attitude or a perspective on what mindfulness and meditation is all about. Even though you could go back to Buddha and some of the monks, they were all guys, but like the bravado Tony Robbins firewalkers of the world, they're like, but mainly women and women buying the merchandise. Yeah, I would say it's probably like 75, 25 at least.
All right. One question from Tammy. How do you start a club versus opening a room?
So opening a room, you could go there right now and just open a room. A club, they might be more liberal with this right now, but they were giving authorization for people who were there on the app, and I think they were very liberal with like people who were there on the app, that they could open a club. I think it might be a limit to like 1 club per person right now. Perhaps they've expanded that to 2 per person. Certainly the app is still in beta, so they're slowly introducing things. Like at first you had to apply for a club and there were so many applications, and now they've said like if you have some frequency on the app, you can start your own club. But I think it was limited to just 1. A lot of people, a lot of big influencers, the blue check mark people, wanted to monetize things. And so now they've just, over the last 2 weeks, found a way to help people monetize things. Although there's like much debate about that. Like you shouldn't do that, or you should do that. And then you get into like everyone's relationship with money, and and for me, it's like, it's cool. Like it's the way I look at it, it's part of like helping me build out a different element of my brand. And it's a part of like what I want to do going forward. Like